Hello there. I've made an add-on, and this add-on is something that lets you switch between the workspaces using a keyboard shortcut. So if you press Alt and Q, you can switch over to the shading menu. If you press Alt and Q again, switch back to layout, texture paint, UV editing, back to layout, and so on. The other thing it does is it switches out individual panels. Individual panel windows can be switched out. So if you do Alt, Shift, and then Q, you can get these options. So say I want to switch out the timeline for a graph editor. Boom, got one. Just like that. And I can add in my keys and modify things around. And if I want to go back in, I just do Alt Shift Q and I'm back to the timeline. So it's just a neat little way to navigate around the user interface. So typically what you would do is you would go up here and then select the option that you want. But this just helps you to do it a little bit quicker. So maybe I want the timeline here to view animations while I'm doing shader network stuff, and that's basically what it does. The reason why I did this is because well, I lost my job a couple of weeks ago. I was doing virtual production with Unreal Engine and Blender and other tools. I was doing tools development stuff as well as web dev there, so now I've got time. Got time to work on the projects that I've had ideas for in the past. The reason why I chose to do this particular one was because I come from a Maya background, so I used Maya for like 10 years, and their Pi system that they have in there is pretty awesome. And it's one of the few things I missed when I switched over to Blender a couple of years ago. So if you go into the key map in the preferences section, Blender does have a tab for Pi menu. It has these options here. So if I hold tab and then move the mouse around, I get options to go into edit mode, where I can, move vertices around, do editing, do editing tasks like extruding and, polymodeling. If I hold tab, then I can go back to object mode. If I hold down Z, I can check out the wireframe, or solid, or rendered, or toggle overlays, toggle X-ray, go back to material preview. So the Z and the tab options, and then the Z options are just something that is in my muscle memory, and I just love radial tabs. I think they're really useful. So I thought I'd add one to do workspace switching, because I find myself constantly doing this, and I just think it's quicker. It's a lot quicker to just jump over to things when you've got everything muscle memorized. I don't know if that's a word. So obviously you can switch panels out also by going in here and switching things out. But again, I just think it's a lot quicker to just go in here and jump over to the dope sheet, or jump back to the timeline. I just find this a lot quicker. So yeah, the code for it, the zip file is in the description below on my Patreon. It's Patreon membership's £2. If anyone wants to download it, you can get it there. If you do download it and you wanted to edit it, you can do that. The workspace options that come out of the box as default with Blender will work, except for there's only 8 options that you can pick from. Any more than that will require more work on my part. But if you wanted to edit the ones that are already there, I've obviously picked the ones that are best for me. You can just go in here and change, say for example, you renamed geometry nodes to geometry nodes 2. You would just have to do, just go in here and change it to geometry nodes 2. Just like that. Further down here, there's the window panel switcher. This is a bit more tricky because you need to know the actual proper Blender variable name. But this is where you edit it if anyone wants to have a dig and have a look into it. So this is still like an alpha version. There's still some problems with it that would need to be ironed out. For example, if I jump over to modeling mode, the shortcuts don't work anymore. So Alt, Shift, and Q does work. So I could still switch out this for one of the other options that are in here, but the Alt Q does not work. And this is because that particular shortcut is saved. It's one of the default Blender versions. But if you have a look in the script here, you can modify it. If you feel like you need to change the key to something else, you can do that. In the editor preferences, everyone knows how to install an add-on. If not, there's plenty of tutorials how to do that out there. I could also add in the ability to switch out the key that's used in the preferences in this add-on. And I could also add in the ability to rename and create custom workspaces as well. I haven't done that because it's going to require quite a bit more work. If I can get, I don't know, 50 to 100 people who are interested in using this, I will go in and I will do that. But there's no point in me fleshing something out if no one's going to be using it. I'm going to use it because I find it very useful, but we'll see if anyone else is interested. I am also going to, at some point, I think, do a video on how to build add-ons. So if anyone's interested in that, just sub and keep an eye out, and I will do a tutorial on that at some point, I'm sure. And that's it. Cheers.